that means passing the torch to Westerners.
As long as they're willing to learn, I teach them. Because at least they can keep this technique in a proper, proper way, proper style, not like someone big and have something new, and then make something wrong, and then become some new way to
es conocido como el Bruss afgano. El fanático de las artes marciales entrena varias veces a la semana en las ruinas de este palacio real en Kabul con su héroe en mente.
Cuando tenía 8 años vi la película de Bruce Lee y me enganché. Me interesé en practicar Kung Fu a los 14.
Con los años perfeccionó su técnica y se dio cuenta del parecido con la estrella de cine de Hong Kong. La gente de aquí lo llama Bruss Hazara, en referencia a su comunidad, un grupo étnico con rasgos de Asia Central. Con decenas de miles de seguidores en Twitter y Facebook, se ha convertido en una celebridad local.
Abasarizada es el orgullo del país porque Afganistán se enfrenta a una gran cantidad de problemas. Él es el hombre que puede dar al país una mejor reputación en todo el mundo.
35 años de guerra han devastado el país de Alizada. Y el joven sueña con una tierra lejana donde pudiera vivir su pasión.
Deseo poder encontrar algún día mi camino a Hollywood. Espero ser el primer afgano que sea parte de la industria cinematográfica de Hollywood y completar la película inacabada de Bruce Lee.
Se refiere al Juego de la Muerte, una película que Bruce Lee dejó sin terminar al morir en 1973. Mientras espera el estrellato de Hollywood, Alizada continúa entrenando duro y cuidando de su padre paralítico. El anciano comparte el sueño de su hijo y espera poder verlo algún día peleando en la gran pantalla.
think now, 40-something years later, he has even greater meaning than he did 4 decades ago. Martial arts was everything to my father. He himself even said, everything that I've learned about myself, about life, I've learned through my study of martial arts.
Woke up late, missed the morning glaze, but the sunlight hits in so many ways. Grabbed my shades and hit the streets, no plan, chasing vibes like seashells in the sand. Radio hums a tune I can't name. Crooked smiles, crashing waves, no shame. Flip my phone, toss it in my bag. Today's for us, no time to lag. Feel the world just turning slow. Let the breeze tell us where to go. Every step a beat we can make. Life's a tune, sing it till we break. Concrete warm under my bare feet. Crowds moving like a heartbeat. Skipping stones in city streams we find. Let's write a new story, leave the old behind. Someone's cooking love in the air, I swear. Every spark in their voices shows they care. Colors splash like secrets on these walls, while laughter echoes through the halls. Feel the world just turning slow.
train up to ATM.
Hello.
I'm Helen.
How do you do?
Hey, nice
Where were they
meeting you.
telling me to stand?
Oh,
Was he telling me to do something? This is good here.
that's good.
All right.
So, we know that in camp, you said that you were expecting twins.
Did I say that?
Yeah. I was going to ask how the pregnancy was going.
It's going well. It's coming along. I'm getting bigger, as expected. They're kicking right now. Wait. No, that was just gas.
You don't want to do too many country moves, obviously, if you're a few months ago. You must have picked up some good ones. What's your favourite country stance?
My favorite stance?
Yeah, your favourite.
Well, I mean, it's always like a very broad, the feet spread wide, and the hands, the tiger. This is the baddest, I guess you would say. Sorry. Do you know Kung Fu? My bodyguard. You know what I mean? This says power. But it starts off graceful.
I reckon the cold lip.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd win in a fight with Bruce Lee.
I'd scare him. I wouldn't win, but I'd start off strong. He'd be like, whoa. He seems like a force to be reckoned with. And then he would punch me once and I'd be unconscious.
Are you sort of black belt in your house? Do you,
I'm a black belt in my mind. In my house, we do a lot of horsing around, a lot of kung fu play.
you're the boss?
The thing we do is basically my boys will do some kung fu and I'll pretend like I've been hit and I'll like fly across the room and land in a big pillow. We have those big cushions, pillow. What do you call those?
It's like a
Bean
sleeping bag.
bags.
Bean bag.
A seafood bag? Did you call
I
it?
said sleeping bag. I meant bean
A
bag.
bean bag. High five.
Thanks so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll start with this. I read that there was a number of coincidences that brought you guys together for this film. Can you just talk about that? And what was your advice to Mike in regards to finding a good set?
呢個你小龍嘅一個無處不旅遊嘅做法，我覺得可以從呢方面考慮。我哋呢個地方其實佢作用係想做乜嘢？就係、照顧一啲李小龍人，佢哋嚟到香港，佢哋可以揾到啲真人同佢哋傾談對答，俾到 information 佢哋，可以同佢哋分享到佢哋一種即係作為呢個其實其他所有旅遊票上面，即係講緊圖像是益經文化博物館都俾唔到佢一個體驗。
小龍產品你為佢哋作，即係例如所講嘅嘢，即係會使到我會諗翻起我同佢生前嘅時候嗰啲時間、嗰啲感受、嗰啲情懷係好難得嘅。我記得我哥哥佢長大嘅時候，因為佢比我大8年，咁佢成長嘅時候我都係好細個，但係我都係好隱隱約約會記得翻，即係佢細個嘅時候嗰啲白染髮啊，嗰啲好，佢係好即係點講，好瀟灑可以。佢初初學武術嘅時候咧，係我都喺屋企嘅，即係我同我一齊。我嗰時係大概14歲到喎。咁樣佢同阿葉問師傅學嘅時候，咁佢翻嚟啊，咁即係成日都揾下我。即係雖然我只有成個，咁即係會講解俾我聽武術係乜嘢。好可惜佢人唔喺度，但係唔緊要，佢個精神永遠係會留喺我哋嘅腦海裏。所以 because 呢樣嘢，我係好安慰。我亦都知道，唔係希望，亦都知道李小龍嘅精神永遠會留。
李小龍其實都幫咗中國人啊、華人啊喺西方建立嘅形象係真係可以一個代表性人物。其實講真，中意李小龍嘅人真係多得不得了嘅，但係我覺得其實就係比較偏係太散啦。咁其實你唔夠一個，即係以前嘅凝聚力，我覺得冇咗。咁你由一啲人可能好中意武術啊，好中意電影或者中意收藏啊，會比較太散嘅呢一樣嘢。咁其實唔可以話好集中有規律。
In the early 70s, because of
起我同佢生前嘅時候嗰啲時間、嗰啲感受、嗰啲情懷係好難得。我記得我哥哥佢長大嘅時候，因為佢比我大8年，咁佢成長嘅時候我都係好細個，但係我都係好隱隱約約會記得翻，即係佢細個嘅時候嗰啲白煙花啊，嗰啲好，佢係好即係點講好瀟灑可以。佢初初學武術嘅時候咧，係我都喺屋企嘅，即係我同我一齊。我嗰時係大概14歲到喎。咁樣佢同阿葉問師傅學嘅時候，佢會翻嚟啊，咁即係成日都揾下我。即係雖然我只有成個咁，即係會講解俾我聽武術係乜嘢。好可惜佢人唔喺度，但係唔緊要，佢個精神永遠係會留喺我哋嘅腦海裏邊。所以 because 呢樣嘢，我係好安慰。我亦都知道，唔係希望，亦都知道李小龍嘅精神永遠會落。
李小龍其實都幫咗中國人啊、華人啊喺西方建立嘅形象係真係可以一個代表性人物。其實講真，中意李小龍嘅人真係多得不得了嘅，但係我覺得其實就係比較偏係太散啦。咁其實唔夠一個即係以前嘅凝聚力，我覺得冇咗。咁你由一啲人可能好中意武術啊，好中意電影或者中意收藏啊，會比較太散嘅呢樣嘢。咁其實唔可以話好集中有規律。
Honestly, the whole day, what Bruce Lee learned, I know. I've been learning every day. But he's first one used those kind of technique, put into the movie, and everybody thinks,
lady items going on the auction block. Of course, taking center stage is this shirt worn by LeBron James, the Irish number 23. They've been St. Mary High School in February 2002 when LeBron announced to the world that he was turning professional. Potentially this could set a new world for LeBron James. Of course, he sells jerseys. Recently sold Babe Ruth's jersey sold for over $24 million. So again, you see someone like LeBron just won an Olympic medal for Team USA in Paris. Yeah, Bruce Lee, we feel we're bringing Bruce Lee back here to Hong Kong one more time, giving people here an opportunity to see incredible items. Nunchuck, his shirt, his iconic sunglasses, his chops, incredible items, shorts, gloves, helmets. We have a fedora hat that she gifted to a little girl in the audience in May of 2023 in New York at the MetLife Stadium. And that video of Taylor giving this hat fedora to the little girl, we have that online at Julian's Option. So you can then know that you can bid on this hat, estimated very conservatively $1,000 to $2,000. And maybe you could be owning something really important part of Taylor Swift, who is so young, has so many years of a career ahead of her.
I've done this character for TV series a couple of years ago. I've done it, I've done my share of contribution to Bruce Lee. Plus, I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee since I was in childhood, like everybody else, So, but the most difficult part of making this movie is that how much Bruce Lee element I've preserved in the movie, because you can easily become a Bruce Lee wannabe or Bruce Lee imitator, right? But at the same time, because this character was made famous for Bruce Lee, the audience expect to watch not this character, they expect to watch Bruce Lee. When you watch the character Tan Dun, you're thinking about Bruce Lee. So throughout the process of the 3 months of shooting, I constantly think over and discuss with directors how much, when do I want to put a very strong Bruce Lee elements in, which I did at the very end. We walked into karate dojo against the long screaming, those are the real fist-fury Chan Dun Bruce Lee moments. But after putting the elements in, one must remember that it is a Ghanaian movie, so I gotta maintain my own characteristics, especially in Asia. Everybody knows my films, I became all of a sudden become, trying to be Bruce Lee. So that was a very difficult part, trying to balance the elements.
What seems crazy is when you have the former Attorney General meeting with the former president, the husband of the target of an investigation on the tarmac, and then immediately exonerating Hillary Clinton. What seems crazy to me is that Bruce Orr, whose wife works at Fusion GPS, is serving as an intermediary with Christopher Steele. It seems crazy to me that James Comey would be writing an exoneration before interviewing Secretary Clinton and all of her closest aides who weren't yet to be interviewed. What seems crazy to me is that you would go to a FISA court and be presenting this dossier and not be telling the FISA judges that the information is unverified, that it was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, and providing all the other information that was important for those FISA judges, not only to know what the government's best evidence were, but also what the government's worst evidence was. So, as far as what's crazy about all of this is the fact that every single thing in that resolution is accurate. That's crazy. Take one last question.
These arrests made to the people living in those tunnels under the city.
Good evening. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know what the difference will be because I think the intervention wasn't as well planned as it should be. None of the organizations right now in Bucharest have the capacity to take over 70, 80 people. That for at least the next couple of days will be in need of drugs, which means if they don't have access to drugs, they will go through withdrawal. If they will go through withdrawal, they will not answer for what they will be doing, meaning they might become aggressive toward the general population, in the sense that you don't have the drug, you need the drug, you do anything you have to get the drug. And again, there's a second problem to this problem. I'm not saying Bruce Lee shouldn't have been arrested, because he should have been arrested, but things should have been done more calculated, in the sense that this group of people right now had, until yesterday, had access to drugs in that area. Until a new dealer comes in that area, they will migrate to other areas just to get drugs. So a problem that seemingly was just the problem of the North Railway Station now becomes Bucharest entire problem.
So do you have any idea where those people, those drug addicts who were living in the tunnels are now? Are you able to keep track of them?
As far as we know, they're back there. They're back in their area, so in around 45 to 50 minutes we will be there, because this is our regular day of going to the North Railway Station. So we will be meeting them. As far as we know, 77 of them are free and back on the streets, because let's face it, if they can't be prosecuted, there's nothing to be done with them. So they were left to roam as they please.
But your suspicion is that this arrest was a sort of PR stunt, in a way.
I don't know if it was a PR stunt or not. I know what I've seen yesterday, and yesterday that was a big action, in the sense that usually the gendarmerie and the police don't act with such great numbers. They act with great numbers when they will not use force, meaning they announced the press, so everybody knew. We knew about this action for at least 2 weeks now. Seemingly they tried to avoid the press, and yet they were extremely friendly towards the press. So yes, I think they were trying to show we're doing something about this situation that has gone out in the international press, and it's showing a bad side of Bucharest, but not more than that. And again, maybe the arrest of Bruce Lee and another 3 or 4 guys down there that were dealing drugs, as far as we know. We didn't know until yesterday he was dealing, for example, heroin.
Dan Bruss, we thank you very much for joining us.
When I was 8 years old, I saw the Bruce Lee movies, and I was